Right, for more, we're joined by Daveed Gartenstein-Ross. He's a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Daveed, when the police are not saying very much about who they were looking for, what do you think?
It's not clear. I mean, there have obviously been rumors that the Paris attacker who didn't take part in the attacks, Abdeslam, was the target, but it's really difficult to say, given that there's been rumors like this that have ended up being surfacing basically with every raid that has occurred. Also, there's been a frequency of raids. So if the gunfight means that this was the time that they almost had their hands on him, that would be a little bit odd. It's not necessary that the gunfight means that someone important was the target.
Okay, it's 4 months now since the Paris attacks. I think most people would think it's fairly remarkable that suspects are still on the loose, right?
It is remarkable. Like, it's absolutely
they've got the whole resources of the French security.
Yeah.
They've got the whole resources of the Belgian security as well.
Right. This isn't looking for some guy in Syria or Pakistan. It's looking for somebody who's within Europe's borders. But all of this points to just how leaky those borders are and just how much limitations there are on European intelligence. You had one of the cell leaders go back to Syria, then return to Europe. He was a wanted man when he initially left Belgium to go to Syria, and then he was able to leave Europe and come back in. I mean, it's remarkable just how much people were able to get away with in terms of the borders. It's also remarkable just how many interlocking rings of attackers there were. It's the kind of thing that a few years ago most security experts would have said is impossible, because they would have assumed that European intelligence would have their hands all over this plot.
When you see French police working alongside Belgian police in the Belgian capital, are you surprised? Does it help the situation, do you think? Is this a good sign?
I think it is a good sign, because ultimately the attack that they're investigating occurred in Paris, so it makes sense to have the French police there. It's similar to here in the United States, having federal authorities work hand in hand with state authorities depending upon the kind of offense that was committed.
Daveed, Belgium, Brussels, home of NATO, seat of the European Union. Remind us why we are seeing this kind of raid in Brussels, which I think many people think of as a sort of sleepy town in the middle of Europe.
Right. Well, you have from Brussels the highest proportion of European citizens who've gone over to Syria to become foreign fighters. There's one area of Brussels, Molenbeek, which is believed to have been the place where the Paris attack was hatched. And in fact, there was a previous attack that was disrupted in January of last year, which also was in Brussels. So ultimately, given foreign fighter flows and the degree to which the Syria conflict is important both to radicalization trends and also to the ability to plot large-scale attacks like this, it's not at all shocking that Brussels is ending up as one of the epicenters of what people are concerned about.
Okay, we may well see more of these raids, I suspect. Daveed, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.